Hi, and welcome back to English with Fliss. Today we're going to explore the comma. But before we do, please hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell. And this is a little special shout out to Lisa LMNS 8761. Thank you so much for leaving so many comments down below. Most, if not all, of my videos. I really appreciate that. And if you want a special little mention, please leave some comments down below and I will be sure to mention you. So, you will learn how and when to use commas in your writing. So, commas are used for so many different purposes, and I've tried my best to explain the uses in this video. I couldn't possibly explain all the uses of the comma. It's just such a important piece of punctuation, and it just has so many uses. But the basic explanation that we give is that the comma is used in our writing and in our speech when the speaker needs to take a pause, speaker or reader needs to take a pause, short pause in their speech. Hope that makes sense. So, one of the purposes a comma can be used for is to clarify meaning and when we're directly addressing someone. So this sentence does both. It's in red right now because it's not punctuated. So I'm so hungry, I'm going to eat mum. So we've literally just said that we're going to eat mum. So commas save lives. Commas save lives, people. I'm so hungry, I'm going to eat mum. So we've clarified meaning. We're saying we're hungry and we're going to eat. And we've directly addressed a person. And in this example, the person is mum. So I'm so hungry, I'm going to eat, mum. So this person is telling their mum that they're going to eat. This one clarifies meaning, and we're also separating items in a list. So I love cooking, my friends, my family, my friends, and pets. So you've said that you cook your family, friends, and pets? I don't think so. So let's put the commas in there. So I love cooking, my family, friends, and pets. So we've listed several different things that this person loves, right? So they love cooking, their family, their friends, and their pets. Those are the things they love. So we've had to separate those items, the family, the friends, cooking, and pets, with commas. In American English, it's important to note that they would have placed a comma after friends and before the and. But in British English, it's not so common to do that. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's incorrect to do that, even in British writing. But it is important to note if you're not going to include it, like I haven't here, don't include it in any of your writing. Pretend you're doing an essay let's just go with essay. Pretend you're writing an essay and you've decided to follow the British English rules. You need to follow through with that for the entirety of that essay. If you write another essay and you want to include the comma after friends in this example, then you follow the American rules for the rest of that essay. Okay, so just make sure you stick to the one you've chosen, and then you won't get into any, grammatical trouble. So, moving on. Again, this is going to clarify meaning and separating items in a list. He wore red shoes, a black jacket, a black jacket, and green and yellow gloves. It's hard to read without the punctuation. So he wore red shoes, a jacket, and green and yellow gloves. So this comma here, after black jacket, helps us see that the green and yellow were both the colours that were on the gloves that the man was wearing. So even in British English, yes, we would include the comma there because we're, like I just said, highlighting that the green and yellow were connected. They were both a part of that one item, which in this case were the gloves. This is where you might want to choose to stick with American English because you would have placed the comma there regardless. So, separating items in a list, I need to buy a dress, shoes, bag, and hairpiece. So we would put the commas here. I need to buy a dress, shoes, bag, and a hairpiece. And that's how you would say it to your friend. If you were just talking to your friend, well, I need to buy a dress, shoes, bag, and a hairpiece. You don't just blurt it all out. You don't just go, I need to buy a dress, shoes, bag, and a hairpiece. It's just messy. It's unpleasant. Anyway, and again, the green arrow is showing the American English where they would put the comma. If you were only going to the shop to buy two things, so I need to buy a dress and shoes, because there's only two things listed, you don't need a comma. Just use the conjunction of and that is enough. You don't need to write, I need to buy a dress, comma, and shoes. It's not correct. You don't need to do it. Again, separating items in a list. This recipe needs flour, egg, milk, and sugar. So these are the places where we would place those commas. The recipe needs flour, egg, milk, and sugar. Now let's look at joining sentences using conjunctions. So what are conjunctions? I will make a video on that for you. No, I have made a video for that. I have already made a video on that for you. So I will link that up in the top right-hand corner for you. Go check that out if you want more details on conjunctions, but I'll briefly explain it here. So the conjunctions that we use are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And the way to remember those conjunctions is by the acronym FANBOYS, which you can see. F is for, A, and, N, nor, B, but, O, or, Y, yet, S, so. So they are our conjunctions. So the comma is a bit confusing, but I'm starting to understand it. So when you have two sentences that can stand on their own and are connecting with a conjunction, you must put a comma on the last word before the conjunction. Okay, so that's why we've put the comma after the word confusing, because then it's followed by the conjunction and then we move on. So both sentences can stand alone and make sense, but we chose to join the sentences with the conjunction. So what I mean by that, we could have written, the comma is a bit confusing, full stop. I am starting to understand it. So they do work together, but because we chose to use the conjunction of but, that's why we've added the comma. The comma is a bit confusing, comma, but I'm starting to understand it. Another one, I felt sick this morning, comma, so I didn't go to work today. So again, we've used the conjunction of so, and we've put a comma before that conjunction. This one, for example, we can go for a run or a walk. We have used the conjunction of or, but because the sentence is so short, it doesn't need a comma. You can put a comma there if you really want to, but like I said, because it's so short, it doesn't really need it. If you feel it needs it, put a comma there. Again, still on joining sentences using conjunctions. I don't like hiking, nor do I enjoy rock climbing. So we've got the conjunction of nor, and we've placed the comma after the word hiking. Sarah blushed in embarrassment, comma, but John smiled shyly. So again, these sentences could have stood alone, but we chose to use the conjunction of but, and therefore we need a comma after the embarrassment before the word but. I like to go to work, for I get satisfaction from helping the students learn. So again, we've used the conjunction of for, and we've placed the comma just before that word. Now let's look at exclamations. So when we use an exclamation, it needs to be followed by a comma. So, oh, this is just wonderful. So we wouldn't say, oh, this is just wonderful. We would say, oh, this is just wonderful. So we're having that brief pause. Ouch, that hurt. Again, we're having a brief pause. Oh my goodness, that puppy is so cute. Can you hear the pause? So often when you're writing, it is helpful to read it out loud if you're unsure of whether or not a comma should go there, because we will naturally take a pause in the spot where it should be. Also, when we're using introductory statements, so, hey, how was work? We're introducing the sentence. So, hey is the introduction, and then we're continuing on. So, hey, how was work? Wait, did you say it's 3:00? So we naturally pause there. Wait, did you say it's 3:00? Sorry, I can't help you with that. Sorry, can't help you with that. We're taking a pause when we say that. Yes, I am coming to your party. Okay, in dialogue, this is one that confuses a lot of people. So I've got very similar sentences, and we will just go through them all. So in dialogue, Ash invited me to his party, but I wasn't able to go, said Hamish. So with the first arrow, the first comma is used because we're connecting the sentence with the conjunction of but. And then I wasn't able to go, the second comma is, it doesn't, so we put a comma there because we don't need to put a full stop, because the sentence was followed with the dialogue tag. And a dialogue tag is said Hamish, he said, she whispered, they replied, all those, that's a dialogue tag. Now, it is important to note that technically in British English, the punctuation at the end of the sentence, for example, in this example, the comma would go outside of the quotation. However, I have checked a lot of different books that I own, and even in novels that are written by British writers, they followed the American style. So for the purpose of this video, we too will follow that American style. And we can do that in this video because even though I said I'm following the British style before with the, what was it? The separating items in a list, this is a different part of writing. This is now dialogue, and I'm going to choose to follow the American style because that is the most common way it will be done. So you'll see it's returned back to its usual place where it was when I first introduced it to you. Now, the sentence below that we're going to look at now is very similar to the top sentence, but we've just moved the dialogue tag. So, Hamish said, Ash invited me to his party, but I wasn't able to go. So, because the sentence started with the dialogue tag opened the sentence, so we followed it with a comma. Ash invited me to his party, Hamish said, but I wasn't able to go. Again, the speaker, Hamish, didn't end his sentence at party. The writer chose to include Hamish said and then continue on with but I wasn't able to go, the conjunction. Hamish said, Ash didn't invite me to his party, but I wasn't able to go. And then Hamish said, I should have changed that. Hamish said, I heard it was really fun though. So we started with, Hamish said, Ash invited me to his party, but I wasn't able to go. Hamish continued, I heard it was really fun though. So, sorry, I'm just re-looking at this, and I wasn't meant to include that first Hamish said. So it was supposed to start with, Ash invited me to his party, but I wasn't able to go, Hamish said. Then we've put the full stop there because it did end the sentence / idea. And then he continued on with, I heard it was really fun though. Okay, so that was what I meant to write there. I do apologize. So, whoops. Ash invited me to his party. I wasn't able to go, Hamish said. I heard it was really fun though. It was a new thought and idea, the last part of that sentence. I heard it was really fun though, which is why we used a full stop instead of a comma after Hamish said and went into a new sentence, a new idea. Now, another reason we use commas is to separate words or phrases. So, Natalie, my friend, works Monday to Friday. Now, that sentence would have worked without the phrase or the two words, my friend. It could have just gone, Natalie works Monday to Friday, but we've given a little bit of extra information. Natalie, comma, my friend works Monday to Friday. So we've gone Natalie, placed our comma there. I've put the arrow in the wrong spot. I'm not sure what's happened here. Sorry. Natalie, comma, my friend works Monday to Friday. Then we've got another one similar. My son, who's 12, plays football. So again, we didn't need the information that this person's son is 12. So we've gone, my son, a little bit of exclamation, who's 12, plays football. Then we've got similar separating words or phrases. My daughter, who's fit, tall, and active, plays basketball. So we've listed a couple of things about the daughter, so that the things we listed was fit, tall, and active. So we need fit, comma, tall, comma, if you're using American English, and active, plays basketball. But that sentence would have worked if we just said, my daughter plays basketball. And in that case, we wouldn't have needed a comma. Then we can use commas to separate the name of a city from a state or country. For example, Lena lives in Stockholm, Sweden. So Stockholm is the city, comma, Sweden is our country. Separating addresses, 432 John Street, Brighton, New South Wales, Australia, 2000. So we've got the street, which is John Street. Then we've got Brighton, which is our suburb. Then New South Wales, which is the state. Australia, the country. And 2000 is the postal code or the zip code. Okay. Similar here, we've got 76 Clark Court, Wishart, which is our suburb or city. Then we've got Northern Territory, which is the state, Australia, the country, followed by the zip code. And then we place our commas in all of those different places. Now, how about you test yourself? So I have not put the commas where they need to go in this. So what I would get you to do is to pause the video and write these down and place the commas where you think they need to go. So I'll ask you to pause the video now and have a go at placing those commas where they need to be. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video and had a go at placing those commas where they need to be. Now let's have a look at where they should be. All right, so pause the video and correct your work, see how you went. Keeping in mind that in the first one, after Chase, if you're following American English, you would have placed a comma there. And after John in the last sentence, American English would have placed a comma there. All right, now test yourself on this. Pause the video, have a go, see where those commas need to be. All right, hope you've paused the video. Hope you've had a go. Now let's look at the answers. All right, so that is where our commas should have been placed. How did you go? Again, American English would have placed a comma after spaghetti. All right, now test yourself on these. Pause the video, have a go, and let's see. All right, hope you paused the video and had a go. I left a comma in there for you. Now let's check it out. All right, so Jones Road, comma, then we've got the suburb or city, comma, and the state, comma, then the country. And there's our list of ingredients that we need to buy. And again, American English would have placed a comma after capsicum. And then we've got our introductory comma there. Hey, did you paint that? All right, test yourself on this one. Pause the video. Okay, I hope you've paused your video and had a go. Now let's check out the answers. Okay, so this is where our commas needed to go. Got some dialogue in this one. Again, American English would have placed a comma after swearing. And all right, let's moving on. Test yourself on this one. Pause the video, write this down, place your commas. All right, let's check out the answers or where the comma should be. All right. So how did you go with the testing yourself section? I hope that this video helped you understand a little bit more of where commas need to go in your writing. Remember, the basic explanation is if you take a short pause while you're reading or speaking, that's where the comma needs to be placed in your writing. But hopefully this video helped you understand that a little bit further and different uses of the comma. Of course, I didn't cover them all because there are just so many and we just sort of naturally do it after a while. So I can't think of every single possible example of the commas, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Thanks again.